Good on your end?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're live. Awesome. So I'm gonna give everyone a couple minutes to come in here. Once you guys join, just drop here or something, just so we know you're here. We want to make sure we're not dealing with any like technical difficulties or anything crazy, because that's definitely happened before with the lives. All right, I see here we go, 11 people on. That number jumped up like that. 14 people. Awesome. So it looks like people are coming on here. People, I'm assuming like the texts are probably still coming out, so people will be joining over the next few minutes here. But Julian, if you kind of just want to go ahead and kick it off, and we can go ahead and jump into everything as people are joining.
Sure. What's going on, ladies and gents? I see a couple comments. It's getting blown up. What's good, my dudes? Can't see you, Tim, says John. Something you might want to keep an eye out for, Tim. But yeah, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're doing this live. We're going to kind of go over, I don't know if I disappeared or not. I see the screens moving, but we're going to kind of go over a presentation that we did live in Las Vegas, talking about how not to go broke as an insurance agent. Now, before we jump straight into the presentation and kind of go over people keep saying your screen is black, Tim, just a heads up. But before we dive straight into the presentation and we kind of go over, the 4 buckets of insurance and how to make a boatload of money by properly managing your business, I want to tell you guys a little bit about what we're doing with the program and how this applies to you and how you fit into everything. So all of you know that for the content that we make, our goal is to get you to 3 to 5K a week in sales so that you can apply to work with us. So basically, we're making some changes, and instead of doing just the normal Facebook ad setup stuff that we were doing before and offering a course and everything as well, now we're offering a 6-month coaching program where we work with you one-on-one, and we're also doing a one-time offer for the next 2 people to get in. And I'm not going to dive into that now. I do want to talk first about everything, and then I can kind of go over what that would look like and possible next steps and how you can apply to work with us. You got anything to add there, Tim?
Nope. Yeah, we'll be dropping a calendar link later on through the live. But for now, we kind of just want to jump into the presentation. Let you guys kind of like, basically it's a framework. We call it like how to not go broke selling insurance, but it's a little tongue in cheek. It's more so like a framework to get to 6 figures and ultimately 7 figures. It's really just like, it kind of breaks down everything that you need, all the pieces, all the components to scale an insurance business. So without any further ado, I'm going to share my screen here.
Before you jump in, Tim, Islam said BTW. I was the first son, and you posted
the first like the first like the first.
Oh, I was like, what do you mean, son? Who's child?
No, dude, I don't have any kids yet.
Yeah, cool,
awesome. So let me share my screen here. Let me know if you guys can see it. I know there's like some weird stuff going on in the beginning with my screen, but let me know
if you can see this.
You guys got it?
Not seeing anything yet. And if you are watching, just a heads up, we are giving away 1,000 leads at the end of this live today. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So this could be, not only we get the biggest return on investment for the information we're about to give you, but also you have a chance to win 1,000 leads. Go ahead and take it away, Tim.
Cool. You can see it now?
Yeah, I think we got you. Looks great.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Cool. So how to not go broke selling insurance, aka how to make 6 figures and beyond selling insurance. So drop in the comments, just say yes if you guys know what this is. It's an animal. Hopefully you guys know what this is. And if you've ever seen a photo of one of these animals before, just drop yes in the comments below. Seen a couple yeses come through. Obviously it is a turtle. And the thing is, most agents are similar to a turtle. And what do I mean by that? Well, most agents kind of just hide in their shell, right? They want to ignore the reality of what's going on around them because most people aren't making any money. So don't feel bad about it, because this used to be me. This used to be Julian. We were stuck in the same AP trap where we would just write as much business as possible and, try to dig ourselves out of a hole that ultimately was not possible to be dug out of. So our background, our story. Julian got picked up waiting tables and recruited into an insurance model where basically it was all face-to-face sales, direct mail leads that advertised a gift card. So it would say like, get a free gift card right here, and then under it, it would be like state-regulated burial program. Very, I would call it bait and switch marketing, to be completely honest. And so those were the leads we would get. We'd pull a pack of like 25 of them and like 100 recycled leads, drive 2.5 hours one way to a destination, knock doors for 8 hours, and then drive back home. So it was like 16 plus hour days every single day. We would get chargebacks on top of chargebacks on top of chargebacks. We didn't know anything about retention or building a relationship with our clients. And this is funny. Our CRM was tally marks on the lead card, which was a disaster. We didn't track our numbers at all. The only number we knew was how much AP we were writing. And then at the end of the year, how much profit we made because we had to do our taxes, which was also a nightmare if you don't track your numbers or your expenses. I think I made $6,000, and I think Julian, you made like 11 or 12, maybe something like that.
Most of my money was on the Medicare, to be honest.
Yeah, most of the money was on Medicare. So it was pretty wild, right? And after telling you guys all of this, you might be surprised to know that we were both averaging about 5K or more a week. And we barely broke even after selling for 8+ months. So one day we had a realization. There had to be a better way to do this whole thing, right? There's no way that the business that has made the most millionaires in history is like this, right? It just doesn't make sense. We realized we were working a broken model. And so we wanted to find a way to do this where we had a life outside of insurance, right? Where we weren't driving and on the road all the time, where we had leads that were had a reasonable cost, right? One that was more efficient and one where we were actually making money for putting work in. Then we realized it was actually stupidly simple. So we came up with the 4 golden buckets of insurance, right? I'm going to kind of explain this a little briefly. This is what the entire presentation will be about. So you guys will definitely get tired of us saying the 4 golden buckets, but it's going to make you a lot of money if you implement it. So leads is just your people to talk to, right? Nurture is how you work those leads. That's calling, texting, automation, sending them videos, whatever. Sales is once you're talking to them, from there to you close them into a policy, right? So it's conversation to policy. And the retention is just keeping people after that, right? Keeping your clients that you already have, keeping the people that you have already paid to acquire. And then if you can have people flow through all 4 of these buckets, then you end up with profit, right? So if you have a lead, you work your leads, you get them on the phone, you have conversations with them, and you turn them into policies, and then you keep the policies you get. All of that will turn into profit. However, if you have a hole in any of these buckets, if you're not calling your leads enough, well, it's going to be hard to get people into the sales bucket because you won't have conversations, you won't close sales, and the rest won't happen. If you're having conversations and not closing deals, well, you have a hole in your sales bucket. If you're getting a ton of policies and you have like a 50% chargeback rate, retention problem, big time, right? And all of that doesn't even matter if you don't have leads. So those are the 4 golden buckets. This was for like an in-person presentation. So raise your hand if you're in the room. You guys can just comment here in the comments down below because we won't be able to see you if you raise your hand. But if you want to, you can just raise your hand at your computer or whatever. But comment here. Yeah, comment here if you guys are in the chat there. This is also for the in-person presentation. So ignore the photos thing. But ultimately, just kind of be present. This is going to be recorded and posted on YouTube. So let's talk about bucket number 1, which is leads, right? We started our business only helping agents with leads, right? We had the Secrets of 77 Cents course. We do the Facebook ad setups. And then as we were doing that, we realized there's a lot more problems in the business. We knew that the whole time, but we didn't really know how to help with it. But let's start with leads. This is just getting people into your pipeline, right? People in your pipeline. Very simple. There's 3 factors to leads, right? So you have volume. How many leads do you have? You have quality. How good are the leads? The quality of the leads, right? The intent, whatever you want to call it. And then cost, which is how much they cost. So you can either have these 3 variables in your favor or against your favor. They're variables, so they're not good or bad. It's just how is it playing in your favor or against it, right? So volume, very simple. The more leads that you have, the more AP you will write. You guys have seen this in your own business. If you're buying leads consistently, you're writing more AP than if you're not. If you're generating leads consistently and then your ad account gets shut down, your AP is going to drop. So the more leads you have, the more AP you write. Obviously, a better agent will write more AP per lead they have, but overall, this equation works for just about every single agent. So from what we've seen, to see success, and we're considering success is like on track or already making six figures, you need at least 100 leads a week minimum. Anything less than that, and you're going to have a very tough time. So let's talk about quality. This is the one thing that I think a lot of people get stuck on. A lot of people will blame the quality of their leads for their lack of success, but quality is simply just an equation of what they see equals what you get, right? Most of the time, the problem is not really a quality issue, because at the end of the day, a lead is just a name and a number and a reason to call someone or a reason to show up somewhere. But there is definitely, like, to ignore that there is intent and quality in leads is just stupid. But it's not as big of a problem as some people make it, right? Quality is just a factor of what they see equals what you get. So if you show them garbage, what are you going to get? Garbage, right? If you show them get 2 free gifts on us, you're going to get people that are saying, that was about life insurance. People are going to be very confused. Whereas if you show them gold, if you show them quality, you're going to get quality, right? If you show them an ad that says life insurance for seniors, what are you going to get? Seniors that want life insurance. Pretty simple. Next thing we're going to talk about is cost. So a lot of people think that, and I think a lot of this narrative may be pushed by lead vendors, is that cost equals quality. So you get what you pay for. Well, that's true in the real world, right? Like in most things, which you get what you pay for. With leads, cost does not equal quality. I'll give you guys an example. Let's say somebody is selling a lead for $100 and they're running a terrible ad like this one, right? And it costs them a ton of money because no one's responding to this because it looks like spam. It looks like a credit card scam. They're going to steal my social security, everything, right? So less people are going to respond to this. So let's say Julian clicks on the ad. Lead vendor Jimmy sells me the lead for $100 because it cost him a bunch of money to generate. Does that mean it's a high quality lead? No. But if I go to Julian and he knows that I sell insurance and he refers me his grandma to sign her up on a policy for final expense, how much did that cost me? Nothing. But a referral is one of the highest quality leads that you can get. So cost does not equal quality. So what does cost equal? Cost equals the cost to generate the lead plus the vendor margin, right? So for example, if Islam says, I'm quoting a custy while I'm watching. I've never heard someone shorten customer to custy. I don't know if I'm for or against it, but I'm just going to put that there. Anyway, so if it costs somebody nothing to generate a lead and they sell it to me, the only thing I'm paying is the vendor margin. So cost is just cost to generate plus vendor margin. What happens if you generate your own leads? You cut out the vendor margin. So you're not paying a middleman. Next thing we're going to talk about is what we've seen most optimal for people we've worked with, right? So in general, from all of the agents we've worked with, the most successful people we've seen will do Facebook leads. So they're generating their own Facebook leads in combination with recycled or age leads, right? So as you're making the transition from buying leads to generating them, you can kind of supplement with those recycled or age leads to keep your costs low. And kind of fill your pipeline with people to talk to as you're having the fresh new Facebook leads come in. So the most optimal way we've seen, Facebook leads plus recycled leads or age leads. So that's going to wrap up bucket number 1. I'm going to let Julian take over here and talk about nurture, which is every agent's favorite thing to do.
Yeah, Tim, I was going to ask you real quick. You want to just click for me, or do you want me to screen share? Or how does that work on StreamYard?
Yeah, I'll just click for you. Just say, I can probably tell if I mess up. Just say go back or
yeah. I'll let you know. Yeah. Cool. So, thanks for the intro, Tim. So, bucket number 2, nurture. This is how you work your leads. So, what we're doing here is we're trying to grow these clients, as you can see in that kind of that little image there. Is we're trying to grow them from stranger to client, right? From wacko to purchaser or custy, as our friend says. So here's kind of like a few different ways that you can nurture your leads. So your outreach would be like manually working your leads. Think like phone calls, texts, DMs, anything that would be manually done. You're having to spend time doing it, right? This is like, it's like using the pickaxe to mine your gold. Automation is like using a tractor. You're using AI to work your leads. You're not really putting in any effort. You're clicking a couple buttons and you're just kind of sitting back and letting things run. This is kind of, a combination of what we do with our system, right? Using AI, doing manual outreach as well. And then follow up. This is reaching out to people that you have spoken to. 60% of buyers will say no 4 times before they purchase. And so what that means is that you want to follow up with these people, but also only 2% of people buy on the first appointment. So that means that 98% of the people that you speak to are literally just like being left off in limbo. And somebody who's willing to work recycled leads and pay way less is probably going to pick up more money with a bigger margin. Content. This is sending videos, pictures. I like voice messages a lot. It seems to build trust with people. That's just something that I do. I don't know, I don't really have too much data on voice messages, but that's something that I really like. But videos and pictures perform very, very well via text message and for like content. Think like YouTube, things like that as well.
Yo, Julian, before you keep going, I forgot to mention something, guys. As you guys are watching this prezo, the Kahoot at the end, whoever wins the Kahoot gets the 1,000 leads, is based off of this presentation. So, if you guys want to take notes or kind of just follow along with it, this will definitely help you with the competition at the end of the live here.
Good mention. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
so outreach.
Talking, I was like, shoot, I got to tell them.
Let's break it down. Outreach, dials and texts. So that would be texting people and calling people. And let me get one thing really, really clear for everyone. This is the number one thing that causes agents to fail. But what I will say is that a text is not the equivalent of a dial. I hear people say that they're prospecting. They're like, oh, I'm texting my leads, but they don't want to move forward. Right. And it's like, well, I mean, have you had a real conversation with them? No. I mean, I was just sending them quotes over text. If you were doing quotes over text and having text conversations as sales appointments, stop. You're going to make a lot more money if you don't do that. The point of texting is just to get them on the phone, and the point of dialing is just to get them on the phone. But ultimately, like, the sale is made in conversation. It's not made over text with some one-liner or some zinger that your upline says is going to get them locked down. So, back last panel up once, please. And so, can you go back?
Yeah.
And so without consistent outreach, the moral of the story is like you will fail. If you're not making dials every single day, you will fail. And so what we've seen is that agents that make 100 dials a day at least, this is a minimum. This is not a maximum. This doesn't mean if I make 100, I had a good day. This is like 100 is a medium day. That's a mediocre day. You know what I mean? Like, this is the bare minimum to be successful. The more that you outreach, like in the equation, the more business that you will write. We've seen that to be true with door knocking, phone calls, texts, emails, leads, everything. The more volume you do, the more volume you'll get. That's always staying consistent. So if you want to be successful, you need to make at least 100 dials per day. And so let's talk a little bit about automation here. You want to automate your emails and your texts. If you are currently 100 triple dials, no, we see most people just doing 100 dials, period, 3 dials. So like calling like 33 leads. Right. This is why I'm saying it's a minimum. Okay. So if you're doing 100 triple dials, that would be you're calling 100 leads.
Yeah.
Which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But whatever you're doing, and here's the secret to success, just make sure it's consistent. Like, I don't care if you make 100 dials, 150 dials every day, 300 dials every day, but if it's like, if 300 dials a day is something that like mentally exhausts you to the point where you're like not inspired to get up for work in the morning, I'd probably do less just so that you can stay consistent, because you don't get good at this business by just having like explosive days where you just kill it one day and then take off the rest of the week. You destroy this business by being consistent every single day, day after day, week after week, month after month. That's where the wins are. So if you're not using a CRM currently, make sure that you're using a CRM with pre-built automations. I recommend using a CRM from someone that actually has experience with insurance. We don't offer a CRM to the public currently, but what I do suggest is that you do work with someone who's actually sold insurance before, because there's a lot of Mickey Mouse guys out there that are pushing CRMs through ads and just spending more than everyone else. And I've seen the automations, and it's like, I don't even know what's going on there. That's not business. That's a hobby. So the reason why this is so powerful though is because you're going to get pre-booked appointments. You can get better retention. And yes, this works for captive agents, Franklin. And you're going to also have things that are going to help your clients stick on the books. You're going to help get yourself referrals, find cross sells if you're in that game. And this is going to be a major time saver. You're not working a paper stack like Tim and I were with tally marks on the cards. Like, looking back on it, I feel like I was living in the ice age. It's insane. So make sure that you are using a CRM and automating everything. AI is huge. So if you're missing out on that, I can assure you that it's not going to take over the world just yet, but it is going to take over businesses if you don't use it. So you want to use automation and consistent outreach, and that's going to equal dollar signs. I'm not going to do the dollar sign face, but F you. Just kidding. It's better when you're in person. But let's talk about follow-up. Reaching back out to people who weren't ready to buy initially. I talked earlier about how only 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So if Tim is definitely in a closet. I'm wondering.
I'm in my parents' basement.
Yeah, parents' basement. But 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So you got to think about that. If you get 100 leads, that means that statistically speaking, 2 of them will buy on the first call, on the first contact. And so maybe it's something simple like you set an appointment and then you sell them. And that would no longer be the first contact. But like, if you're going call to close, your chance for conversion is 2%. Statistically speaking, this is like source data, right? And so 60% of customers reject offers 4 times before making a purchasing decision. I want you guys to think about how these could affect your business currently, because a lot of people, I've got dead leads. These are old leads. Like, if you have, let's say, 1,000 leads only, if you only have 1,000 leads and 98% of them didn't buy on the first contact, and 60% of them have said no to you 3 or 4 times, think about how much money is left in that pile of people, just in the 1,000 that you have. 98% of them did not purchase. Like, think about how absolutely insane that is. So I want to leave you with that for a moment when we go into the next slide here. But think about what is in the leads that you currently have. So content is going to be videos, emails, text, social media posts. I saw a guy post something the other day, and he was like, it was like some fear tactic about like final expense coverage or life insurance or something. And it was like, just don't be gross. You know what I mean? Like, if you wouldn't read this post, let's say if it was pertaining to some, like, let's say you see a solar post and you think to yourself, like, this guy sounds like an idiot. Just think from that frame of mind. Like, hey, would I think that this guy sounds like an idiot if I were the one posting? Like, if you feel weird or like cringy posting it, it probably sucks. So like, just do research on what actually works or things that you actually like looking at, because like telling someone that they're a bad parent for not having like whole life insurance is like really bad marketing. So just an idea for content. Like, don't do that. But this is a really scalable way to get in front of people and constantly remind them over and over and over again. So there's 3 purposes of content. Number 1 is to build trust. Number 2 is to remind them that you exist. And exactly, trust your gut. Is to remind them that you exist. And then the 3rd purpose of content is to educate. So I'll use David Duford as a quick example before we jump to the next slide. But a lot of people have seen David Duford. He's got like 30-some thousand subscribers. Tons of people trust him. And you're constantly reminded of who he is. And he's one of the biggest names in the industry because you're constantly reminded of him because he posts every single day. Tons of people will tell David all the time and tell us all the time that he has, he has helped them in some form or fashion to improve their business. He's definitely helped us. And that's because he's trying to educate people and help them grow in business. How many seniors do you come across have an email when selling final expense? Like Raymond,
yeah, I don't, like 90%.
Yeah, I don't have like a hard statistic. I don't like look at that, but pretty much everyone in like the developed world has an email regardless of age, even if they're like 10 or 90. So I wouldn't, pretty much everybody. You can jump to the next slide here, Mr. Tim. But let's talk about content and why it's so important, because if you make it once, look at this. Comments down below. David is great and super helpful and trustworthy. I read his book. Like, see, you guys are already talking about him. Like, it's already created a conversation because his content is reminding us of who he is. It's crazy. So the reason why content is so powerful, though, is because when you make it, it lasts forever. I don't have to go back and post a video again that's already been posted. It just sits on the internet. It's easy to automate sending out. So you can literally use like a CRM or some form of automation tool to just continue to send this out constantly to new prospects that are coming in. And it can also make your job easier when you start selling. So like, for example, I go back to David Dufour because he's done a ton of content, but David didn't even have to pitch us on moving our contracts. We talked to like all these IMOs around the country. Everybody was like, you need to come with us. We have the best leads, da-da-da-da-da. You know, we're going to give you everything. They bought us all these dinners and wines and drinks and this and that. But David literally just answered our questions, didn't tell us anything. And because we had already watched a ton of his content and had an idea of who he was as a person, we realized that it just made the most sense to move forward with him. So keep that in mind and think about how you can apply that to the leads that you are going to be talking to. Robert says, I work for David for that reason. See, this is like living proof here. Let's talk about bucket number 3, sales, closing prospects into policies, right? The real money makers. If this is you, and it probably is, and we've all been there, so it's okay. But if this is you and you're like in the house or on the phone and you're like trying to, throw your prospect in an arm bar to get them to buy insurance and you're facing chargebacks and you're running away from those month after month, then you need to watch this. And even if you're not, you still need to watch this. But the one thing I always like to tell people, and I got this from Alex Hermosi, so I can't take credit for it, but sales is seduction, not rape. The goal is to get the prospect to decide not to buy. It's to consult and educate the consumer, not to sell them. And so what you'll actually find is that when you talk to people in the marketplace, people want to believe you and they want to buy from you. But and this is like, especially with telesales, this is like the worst thing I ever see, is people will try to skip all of this. I realize I'm not in person. People try to skip all these steps here at the bottom. They're not trying to get them to decide. They don't want to consult and educate. They don't even they just jump straight into, well, are you interested in getting life insurance? Like, yes, it's a numbers game. And yes, you want to be efficient, but that is just lazy. If you're asking people if they're just interested or if they want to go ahead and sign up, look, more David hype.
Jeez.
See, this is good though, because it's proving it's proving my point about the content.
100%.
But the thing that's crazy is that so many telesales agents, if you're transitioning, whatever, are you interested in life insurance? Hey, let me get you a quote. Like, why are we talking about quotes? Why are we even I don't even know if they've talked to someone about insurance before. I don't know what they understand about insurance. I don't know where they're at. I don't know if they have any money. I have no context, and I'm just jumping straight into it. So remember, we're trying to seduce them into the purchase. We're not trying to just beat them up until they freaking sign up and twist their arm or anything. So remember, your job is to consult and educate, not to sell. So you need to check 4 boxes, and if you check these 4, then it equals $signs. Number 1, they have to trust that you have their best interest at heart. Now, I want to touch on this one really quick because this one is really important. If they think that you're in it for a commission, and this is why you have to consult and educate, and this is why you have to ask questions and seek to understand versus just trying to share your story and why they should buy. This is the biggest thing that'll influence whether or not they will purchase from you. You don't even really have to be, I've had people tell me before when I was way less good at sales, and I was just being super genuine and actually worried about their problem. And they're like, you know what? I trust you. I think this just makes sense. I'm just going to do it. That's the nicest way of saying hey, you suck at your job, but you're nice and trustworthy. You know what I mean? You don't have to be the best salesperson ever if you're legit. Yeah, commission breath sucks. Don't do that. Thank you, Priscilla. So if you have commission breath and you're not throwing a mint in, then stop. Make sure that you throw in the mint of consulting and educating your clients, because it makes this job way easier. They understand the product that will solve their problem, and they believe that it is true. If everybody knows that confused buyers don't buy, or confused prospects don't buy, This is also huge because when you're talking to someone in a conversation, if they're like not really understanding how the product works, it's very difficult for them to like imagine and see the outcome of what they want coming true, right? And so it's a very simple process with sales is that it's a bridge. The bridge of trust gets them from I have a problem to I have my desired outcome, which is no more problem. And so like if I don't understand, like if I see a bridge in front of me and I go to cross it and there's just a big hole in the bridge and I don't believe I can cross it, it's really hard for me to imagine getting to the other side. So I want you to think about it that way. So if you're talking to prospects and they don't understand the insurance, and even worse, if you're explaining it and you feel like you don't fully understand that product, do your research, make sure that you can convey that information to them. Make sure that you have their budget. I'm not even going to touch on this too much. Make sure they have money. If you're talking to someone, it sounds like they don't have money. Just, get to the bottom of that. Use the 3-option pricing method that we talk about on our channel. Number 4, they believe that others will support their decision. So this is one thing. You can always leverage human psychology and the herd mentality to your advantage and talk about, hey, I think your daughter's going to be like really excited to hear that her mom was willing to plan ahead. And typically when I have someone like you that's willing to take action to protect their family, their daughter, whoever they're covering, their family, their beneficiary will usually model them because they're setting such a great example. And they're like, wow, I'm going to do that. You're influencing the decision because you're telling them that everyone else is going to approve of it. Islam says ease off of the caffeine. I don't know if he's talking to me or not, but I haven't had like an absurd amount. Here's the 4 parts of a sale. And these are in no particular order, but basically what you want to do is you want to qualify your prospect, figure out whether or not they can purchase. You need to find the need. Everyone can agree that the hardest person to sell is the 60-plus-year-old man that has no wife, no kids, no grandkids. He's like old and alone. He's got nothing to live for, nothing to lose, but he's just like a tough old guy. He's always the hardest to sell because he has no why. And so the secret to getting people to purchase in this industry and in every sales job, but specifically in this industry, is talking about the reason that they're getting the product, which is their beneficiary. I should spend the majority of my time talking about that. Like the conversation, I'm not talking about a quote. The substance in the conversation is not the quote. It's not the policy. That I have to go over that, but that's like 3 minutes. It's fast. The majority of the conversation, like 85% plus of the conversation, is can they qualify, but most importantly, who are they doing this for and why, and what does it look like for that person if they don't qualify, right? We need to play out all possible scenarios so that they can see the value of the program that they're going to get enlisted in. So closing is really, it's all done before you ask for the order by educating the consumer and overcoming obstacles before you dive into asking for the order. Because asking for the order, like, you don't need a one-liner, you don't need a zinger. You can literally just say, you want to go ahead and knock this out? And like that would be considered like closing. Would you be totally opposed to moving forward? Like, how do you want to move forward? There's not like a really crazy way that you need to ask for the order. That's going to be the difference between whether or not you get the deal. The difference between whether or not you get the deal is in that 85% of the conversation and answering any potential questions that they might have throughout the sale. So when you want to build trust with people, and this is the last part of the sale, you want to make micro commitments to the consumer. And it could be something as simple as, hey, I'm going to get a quote pulled up for you real quick. Give me 1 second. Did you want a pen and paper to write this down for your records? And then I pull the quote up. The more consistent that you can be throughout the conversation, the better. So if you overpromise, for example, and you're like, hey, I can get you a rate for $1 a day, and then you come back and it's $10 a day for them or $5 a day, like that's an inconsistency. So trust is broken. You're not going to get the sale. So just make sure that you underpromise, if anything, and over deliver. Seen a ton of comments come in. Truth pays off in the life in general. Yep. Educating and interest best key. Lead on IUL and from whole life. ChatGPT for research. You're correct. Awesome. Qualifying. Let's break it down. Health questions and underwriting. Use an underwriting tool. Don't try to do this and memorize it yourself. You'll kind of get a knack for it as you go on. I never used an underwriting tool when I was in the field because we didn't really do that. We had like a 30-page packet.
I didn't even know they existed at that point.
Yeah, I didn't even know what underwriting was when I first started. I was the greenest. But yeah, definitely get an underwriting tool. I know Integrity has underwriting. What is it called? Underwriting Genie. And then there's also HL Pro. No, not HL Pro Tools. What is it? Insurance Toolkits. That's what it is.
And Best Link Pro, I think, as well.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them out there. So check those out. Definitely use it. Budget, can they afford it? So when I'm qualifying a prospect, I need to know if, one, are they healthy enough to get this, especially with term. If you're selling final expense, you can get away with selling, the guaranteed issue policies, but like especially with term, the underwriting is specifically important. Budget, can they afford it? If they can't afford it, get the hell off the phone. Like there's no reason to be talking to someone who can't buy your program. But fact find and make sure, find out about how much they make. There's different ways to go about this. You can do it in the beginning of the sale. You can do it later in the sale. But you want to make sure you know how much they can spend on the insurance. So let's talk about finding the need. This is the what, and there's 3 components. It's the what, the who, and the how. All 3 of these components make up the why. And so why buy, right? What problem are you solving? Hey, I need to make sure that, little Timmy doesn't get stuck with my $15,000 funeral bill, right? Who does it protect? Little Timmy, right? How is it protecting them? It's paying them a check to ensure they don't get stuck with the $15,000 bill. And so the reason why I'm talking earlier in this video about touching on 85% of this, like this is 85% of the conversation, is because this is the only reason they buy. Like nobody wants to pay an insurance company money and like just, watch money leave their check every single month, especially if they're on a fixed income. But like I'm younger, not on a fixed income, and I see, oh wow, money's leaving my account. Let me stop that. Because that's like the natural thing to do, right? It's preservation, self-preservation. So if you are not talking about this in the conversation, you are not going to make sales. So make sure that like if all you did was talk about this in the conversation and you didn't have one-liners, you didn't have zingers, you could probably not even ask for the order and still get deals, because this is why they do it. They would end up asking you how to move forward, but spend as much time as you can on this. Building trust, educate them and provide value, right? Show them that you care, right? This is rapport. I'm not talking about the dork method or the fort method or whatever you guys want to call it, where you go in, hey, is your grandkids this, a better place to watch? Yeah, you can watch on Facebook or you can watch on YouTube. I think would be the easiest to interact.
Yeah, YouTube will probably be the best for you.
Yeah, I think YouTube is the best personally. But if you're going in and doing the fort method about grandkids and dogs and cats and like, do you have any pets? Like, that's the weirdest thing in the world. I want you to imagine that you walk into Chick-fil-A and you're right as you're about to order, they say, do you have any pets? Do you have any pets at home? That is the weirdest thing in the freaking world. So why would you do that when you're selling them insurance? You're not insuring the pets. If you were, then you can ask about it. But don't be weird. Jump straight to business. And then if they bring it up in conversation, you can expand on it. Be vulnerable. When you're vulnerable in a sales conversation, people trust you and they're more likely to buy from you. So for example, I'll tell them about a story, an interaction that I had with life insurance in my personal life. Helping special needs at school has truly helped me in this industry. So grateful. Awesome. And I can't see who it is. It says Facebook user, but that's cool. Love to see it. But yeah, when you're like being vulnerable with people, you want to actually like, this isn't fake. It's not like surface level. Like, yeah, I stubbed my toe the other day. This is like, hey, my grandma got cancer 3 times. And like, we make sure that she has life insurance, because if she didn't, like my mom and her sisters could have been financially screwed. And that's something that we just weren't willing to accept. It's Melissa Ham. What's up, Melissa? Build trust, educate them. Educate, don't pitch. I'm not selling anybody anything when I'm in these houses or on the phone, ever. I'm just telling them how it works and then trying to get them to make a decision, right? I don't care what the outcome is. So confused people don't buy if you don't explain to them how it works and then clarify that they understand it. That is like, sales 101. Clarify with them that they understand the concept. Because if they don't get it, they're not gonna purchase. But give them information that makes their life easier. One of the best things that I ever picked up was term is like milk, eggs, and cheese, and whole life is like a Twinkie. It never goes away, never expires, no matter how long you have it, right? Great. You can go to the next one, Mr. Tim. So this is just going back to the building trust, showing that you care. I don't want to hear about the fort method. Don't ask about the grandkids. If they mention it, then you can talk about it. But again, we're not starting the conversation off with, oh, do you have any pets? Do you have any grandkids? What's your favorite hobby? That's my favorite. What's your favorite hobby? How long have you been playing chess for? Meh. Show you care. This is you in the background. You're not you're not their best friend. You're not their spouse. You're not going on a date. You are literally just making sure that they're okay in the fight against life, and you're concerned for their well-being, but you're not going to baby them. You know what I mean? You guys ever see the ref in like one of the fighting matches, boxing, UFC? They'll get in the middle and like push people away. Like you're just a barrier against life and financial detriment to their family. So you can be a friendly advocate, but you're not their friend. I'm not here to hang out. I'm not here to have a beer. I'm not here to freaking, shoot the shit for 3 hours on the phone and talk about how your day was. I'm here to literally just go over business. And this doesn't mean you can't make friends. You don't want to like ruin your, like have a miserable life in this business, but that's not the frame to approach with. Like I'm not calling up random people and saying like, hey man, let's hang out and be friends, let's drink a beer. It's like, hey, let's talk about this. And then like, if we vibe, we vibe, whatever. Rapport building does not build trust. Proving that you are on their side builds trust. Now, let me explain. When you are talking with someone, right? I'm going to put this into a blue collar situation because I've been in blue collar. So I did construction for a while and I was working at a prison. Yeah, crazy. I was building a prison. And the crazy thing is that they told us when we came on, they said, hey, if anybody asks you for money or if anybody approaches you in the parking lot, don't talk to them and make sure you walk with someone because these like sometimes, people slip out. It's like it's a county prison. So the security is not as great here because, there's not as much taxes going in. I'm like, holy shit. But the thing was that while I didn't like this guy very much, I did trust him because he was having my best interest at heart. And so we don't have to be their best friend. We don't have to talk about, their grandkids or this or that. We quite literally just have to make sure that they are not putting their hand on the stove and burning themselves. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when your parents are like, hey, don't touch the stove. You touch it, you get burnt. And you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't do that. I'm not saying you don't like your parents, but you get the point.
Like a lawyer. Like most people probably aren't best friends with their lawyer, but
oh my gosh,
an advocate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me started on lawyers. Build trust, be vulnerable. Yeah, we've already talked about this one. People trust things that share people about themselves. So like, for example, I talk sometimes about how I failed in real estate at 18. And while, it's not like the most fun thing to talk about or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's very helpful in understanding that someone who can be successful in sales can also fail in sales if they don't have the right training and support system. And so people tend not to trust people when they're unwilling to share. And so one thing I've had to personally be better about is being vulnerable. And it's really worked out well for me in my relationships in business and in my personal life. So highly recommend. But you don't want to be this guy. You don't want to be the dude that's like all iced out, cold, unwilling to open up, interrogating them, pounding them with questions. I think that's on the next slide here. But this is like you're not sitting across from them on the other side of the table and like, pounding it out, like trying to get them to just tell you everything. It's not an interrogation. Every time that you share something about yourself, you're making a deposit into the piggy bank of trust. And so I want you to think of I think there's some on the next slide here, some examples. Like maybe you used to stutter as a kid, or maybe it's something as simple as I have 2 dogs. Or maybe you say, hey, my girlfriend says I'm messy. Or, like I mentioned the cancer thing earlier. My aunt just recovered from cancer. I have this autoimmune disease too. Like you're not the only one who has, high blood pressure. I've got high blood pressure. And don't be a yes man and just try and copy everything they say, but it's okay to share your own life experiences as well so that they
can.
You
like fishing? I like fishing.
Yeah. How long have you been fishing for? Oh, 5 years, man. What's your favorite? I don't even know. What do you keep in your tackle box, I guess? Dude, I have a rubber worm. I'm going out this Friday. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't be that guy. We all have a journey. Exactly. So just share that with them. I always get personal. I related to a custody by talking about Andrew Tate, LMAO. Close the cell, LOL. Bro, Islam, you kill me, man. I don't know what cracks me up more, but custody's up there.
That's it. That's definitely what's cracking me up.
Screen is really blurry. Try closing out the app, Tammy, and getting back on. Sometimes it'll get weird. But basically, 10% are laydowns. 10% of the people that you talk to are laydowns. 10% of people will never buy. The 80% are what we fight for. And that's why we train for no, because sales doesn't start until after we hear the word no. And so like I used to make this joke when I first started in sales. I'd be like, I eat objections for breakfast. And like, I know that sounds stupid, but my point was to condition myself to enjoy hearing objections because I was excited to overcome them because initially I was uncomfortable with them. And so when I started telling myself like, ooh, I'm excited. I love objections. I eat objections for breakfast. I just get objections now and it's like, okay, done. And I have like an automated response system that's in my mind. It's awesome. And so if you're not excited for objections, then you're probably not training enough and you should do more of that. So here's what closing looks like. You ask for the order. Hey, Go for No, great book. Never read it, but Priscilla says it's great. Check it out. Go for, not Go for No. Ask for the order. Hey, did you want to go ahead and get this knocked out today, Miss Jones? Or, hey, are you totally opposed to moving forward? Or I'm going to go ahead and get you signed up, whatever. And they hit you with, I'm going to think about it, or whatever other objection. And so this is the part in the sale that people get stuck on. And again, like I said, the reason why is because people don't train for this. They only train for up to asking for the order, but it doesn't start until after. And so what I encourage you to do if you're watching this is to go through our channel, because the goal of our videos is to help you get to 3 to 5K a week in sales so that you can apply to work with us. But if you don't know these, I've got a couple of videos out there on the objections, and I think it would be very beneficial for you to check it out and, get a second opinion. Maybe you'll learn something, maybe not. But either way, it's good to have a second opinion. Writing the application. One thing that I really recommend doing when you're writing the app is narrating what you're doing, especially with telesales, because a lot of agents think that it gets awkward and weird when they're filling it out and it's just silence. It doesn't really, like, if the thing is loading, for an example, like, and I know this sounds so basic to some people, but like I'm making this for everyone. If it's like loading, just tell them, hey, Miss Jones, you know what? This is taking a second to load. I've been on a loading screen before with somebody for 35 minutes plus. And, when in that situation, this is when you start talking, like, if you want to talk about grandkids now, talk about grandkids now. Like, this is the time.
Yeah, I was about to jump in and say that, but yeah, that's like the perfect time for rapport building is as you're doing the app and cleaning up the quotes and all that stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And then I'll also, like, one thing that I've seen, avoid dead air. Exactly. One thing that I've seen also work really well is not only being vulnerable, but also kind of like self-deprecating jokes. I don't know why. They're so funny. Like, hey, Miss Jones, like, it's a good thing that they don't do this thing face-to-face anymore, because if you saw my ugly mug, you'd probably send me home. You'd probably send me walking, and you might even call the cops. Holy shit. And they're like, oh, stop it. I bet you're a great-looking young man, and da-da-da. I'm like over here like, refresh. But yeah, self-deprecating jokes are great. And then, concluding the sale, just breaking everything down, asking them what questions they have. I recommend putting them on the do not call list just to make sure that they're not getting, ripped by scammers. But one of the things that you can do when you're closing is when you're asking for the order is a value stack. So value stacking is basically when you give them 3 core benefits as to why they should purchase. Any more, it gets weird. Any less, it doesn't seem like it's actually that valuable. Yeah, John Helm is actually right, especially older people. Not too much with term clients, but you can get them to talk about their job and their work. They'll never stop talking. But value stack, benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3. For example, I might say, John, when we get this set up for you, one of the things that you need to remember is that, you're getting that with this policy, you're getting that free will. And not only that, but you're also getting, and I like to use the word bonus. As a bonus, you're also getting access to discounts on your dental vision plans, access to discounts on your legal services. This isn't if you knock over a bank, Miss Jones. This is like a seatbelt ticket type thing, parking ticket type deal. And on top of that, right, on top of that, you're also going to get that $15,000 to make sure that little Timmy doesn't have to pay that bill. Did you want to go ahead and get that knocked out? Did you want to go ahead and move forward? Are you totally opposed to move forward? Whatever, right? Ask for your order there. My favorite 2 closes are the soft close and the assumptive close. The assumptive close is like number 1 for me. I'll just let them know and be like, hey, so does everything make sense there? Yes. Okay, perfect. And just to get started, I'm going to need you to go grab your, this, and this, or whatever, right? Okay, cool. I'm just going to need to confirm a little bit of information with you. Did you spell your name like, John, John, Helm, Helm? Is that correct? Yep. And then your address is listed on the form here, right? And I'll just go through and I'm filling out the application. Soft close would be something more along the lines of, would you be totally opposed to moving forward? I will say, if you are not as like out there as I am, and like you're not comfortable being as forward, do not try the assumptive close unless you're comfortable doing it and you've practiced it. If you're like, okay, cool, well, I'm just gonna like, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and like, move forward. If you're awkward and like you're not confident with it, they will piece you. Don't use one-liners and zingers. You need to genuinely understand why they aren't ready to move forward. Let's try to talk about a side experience. Yes, and no objections. Yeah, check out Jocelyn. Check out our objections video. It'll definitely help. How to use their policy and to call you if. Yeah, of course. I think we touch on that later in just a second, Paul. Good stuff. But yeah, no one-liners, no zingers. You need to genuinely understand why they aren't ready to move forward. Objections or smoke screens. Get to the root. So if somebody says I need to talk to my husband, it's a very simple response of, if your husband weren't here right now, what exactly do you think you wouldn't like about, this program? Like, what is it about this program that you think you wouldn't like? I don't want to say, what do you need to think? Why do you need to talk to your husband? Just ask about why they're objecting. Understand the objection. And when you have the real issue, then you can tackle the problem with them instead of tackling the person, and ultimately move forward into the rest of the sale. This is the blame onion. We have a whole video on this. It's the video about Alex Hormozy. He went over this. Basically, there's 3 layers of blame: circumstances, others, and self. The outer layer is circumstances, and they are stacked. So if somebody says, oh, I can't right now, I don't have enough money, that would be the circumstances. I need to talk to my husband would be others, and then self would be, I need to think about it. The closer you get to self, the closer you are to getting the deal. So sometimes if somebody says, I can't afford it right now, we got to get through price. Then they're going to say, then they might go to the next layer, which is others. Oh, well, I need to talk to my husband first. Once we get through that, then now we're to self, where they say, oh, well, you know what? I think I just need to think about it. And if we get to that last objection, we can dive into the sale, move forward, and make sure that everybody's good. Writing the app, know your underwriting and use an underwriting tool. Overcome banking and social. Reminds me of Shriek. I don't know what that means. But whenever you are asking for social and banking, don't ever ask for it for you. Ask for it for them. What this means is, Miss Jones, I need to, just to make sure that this pays out to the right John Helm, I'm going to need your social. Go ahead. I'm ready when you are. Super chill. Same with banking. Hey, I've got your, confirm where they bank. Hey, who do you bank with? Wells Fargo. Great. You got that in Wichita, or not Wichita. You got that in Wyoming. Okay, great. And I have that routing number for you here. It pulled up into my system. All I need is your account number. I'm ready when you are. And a lot of times, if they seem like they've been a little more skeptical throughout the conversation, I'll ask them if they want to write down their own routing number, because that will completely destroy banking as an objection. Same thing with social. I just touched on this a second ago. I kind of make it a joke, like, hey, just to make sure that this pays out to the right Tim Shooker, I'm going to need your social real quick. I'm ready whenever you are. And I'll just shut up. We talked about filling dead space. Make sure you narrate your own actions. Hey, I'm just typing this up real quick, Miss Jones. I'm going to send you over an email real quick. Closing conclusion, recap everything you guys did. Hey, Miss Jones, you got everything in place here. We got that $15K that's going to go into effect on the 3rd of next month when you get paid, to make sure that little Timmy doesn't get screwed with a $15,000 bill when the time comes. Not if, because there's a 100% death rate in America and globally, apparently. Have them save your contact. Send them a digital contact card. Send them a business card. I like to send people selfies when I network with people. I love to send selfies. If you're with them and face-to-face, that's even better. If you're not, just send a selfie of yourself. Do not call list. Throw them on there. It takes a minute. It takes like 30 seconds, not even a minute. Set expectations. Hey, you should see your policy the next 5 to 10 business days, and ask for referrals. Don't be lazy. I'll leave it back off with Mr. Tim here.
All right. So last bucket here. And real quick before I jump into everything, shout out to all of the 85 people that are still watching the live here for 2 reasons. Number 1, you guys are investing in yourself and your business. I promise you it'll pay off if you do this consistently. Part of business is the action, and part of it is learning. So you learn things and then you apply it with action, right? So make sure that not only you guys are learning and watching this, but also applying things from this that you learn. Second reason is because at the end of this presentation, we are going to be conducting a Kahoot, which is basically just where you guys can compete and answer questions based off of the presentation. So for everyone that's watching, you guys are going to be entered and have the chance to win 1,000 free leads, which if you guys are working and actually calling them, there's tens of thousands of dollars or more of AP sitting in those leads. So shout out to all 84, 85 of you that are watching the stream right now. Your hard work will definitely pay off.
Let me respond real quick to Facebook user is what I'm seeing. How do you throw them on the do not call list? And also, do you have to tell them that you are doing that? Yes, they have to sign up for it. It is voluntary. And when I tell people that they are going to get put on the do not call list, I just say, I just say, hey, do you get a ton of telemarketing calls like I do? Yes. Do you want me to make those stop? Do you think that we'd be best friends after that? Yes. Okay, great. I'm going to send you an email real quick from the do not call registry. If you just confirm that it's you have to click a button and click accept. It'll put both your phone number and your, it'll get your email on there, but it'll also put your phone number on the do not call list for both your home phone, your wife's phone, your phone, whatever. I think you can put like 4 numbers, and then you'll be good to go.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit more later in the prezo. So just comment if you guys have had a chargeback. I'm seeing a ton of yeses come through. So I'm assuming some of you guys have been in the business for a while. And part of the reason, I hate to tell you guys, but part of the reason is actually your fault. There are a lot of agents out there that act like this. My responsibility ended at ka-ching, right? My responsibility to you ended when you e-signed the policy and I sent you that email via DocuSign, right? That's what a lot of people do. Honestly, transparent. I used to do this a little bit. So let's talk about retention, right? 10% of people are always going to charge back. That's just kind of the nature of the business. People charge back. People change their mind. Some people don't have the money. Maybe they spend it on fireworks during 4th of July, whatever it is, right? 60% of people, if you do things right, will keep their policy, right? 60% will not charge back. If you're writing crappy business, this number might be less for you, but like if you're doing things normally as an agent, 60% of people will stay on the books. The 30% is what we're fighting for. So remember with sales, it was 10% of people are going to buy, 10% of people will never buy, 80% in between. And for chargebacks, it's like 30%. So if you can get your retention rate from 60% to 90%, you're on pace and you're doing great, right? So there's 4 ways to solidify a sale. Go ahead and drop in the comments, just say solid if you guys want to know the 4 ways to solidify a sale so that you guys can get closer to a 90% retention rate. So just drop in solid in the comments, and then we will go ahead and jump into the 4 ways to solidify a sale and reduce your chargeback percentage. So I'm seeing some solids come through. I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. That animation was just for my sake because I wanted to be a little bit extra. But first way is the relationship, right? I know we talked about not making friends, but being friendly. This is kind of where this ties in, because the guy that hops in the call and is just like being weird and like trying to be your friend, everyone can see through that, right? Like literally as humans, we are wired to be able to see through like the creepy person that's coming in with like different intentions, but they're acting like they're our friend. Like everyone can see straight through that. But if you come in, you're doing your job, you're acting in their best interest, and you're being an advocate rather than like the flaky friend, this is what builds trust, and this is what builds real relationships with your clients, right? So a couple ways to do that. The front end trust is what Julian was just talking about with rapport building and all of that. Next thing is sending birthday cards. I've gone behind agents that sent their clients birthday cards and welcome cards and all this stuff. You are never replacing that policy. It's impossible. The only way that you can replace that policy, the only way that I replaced a policy like that was because the person missed their payment and thought they had insurance but didn't. Other than that, if they're getting cards from their agent, no way, ever. You're not replacing that. And the last part is signing up their family and getting referrals, right? So that's basically The more people they send your way, the more invested they are with you, the less likely they are to charge back or switch with another person. So if I tell 8 of my friends to go join a gym, I'm less likely to leave that gym because then if I leave, I look inconsistent. So with retention, we actually have a system where we can automate sending birthday cards to your clients. It's all done through the CRM. Basically, all you do is move them over once you make a sale, adds them to an automation where wherever their birthday comes up, it automatically sends them a card. It costs like $3. Super, it makes a ton of sense, right? So that's a great way to help solidify sale and build the relationship is to automate handwritten birthday cards, which you can do entirely through CRM. The next way to solidify a sale is perceived value, right? So there's a difference between value and perceived value, right? Because the value of the insurance policy is high, but every month money is getting siphoned out of their bank account and they're not seeing anything. They have a little stack of papers. It's their life insurance policy, and that's the only perceived value that they're getting, right? So how can we make it more tangible and feel more real? Because if you can give them something more than just their policy, maybe it's an explanation of how the policy works, right? Something that you provide. Maybe a burial guide, a funeral shopping guide. If you guys have ever gone behind like a Lincoln Heritage agent, I'm sure some of you have. If the clients have like this funeral shopping guide and they think they get all these discounts with stuff, impossible to replace those policies. So the extra thing that you can give your client, the extra value, the tangible asset that they have, increases the perceived value. So again, life insurance is just an idea. You want to give them something to touch and something with utility that they can use while they're alive. Priscilla says brochure or final expense guides. Perfect example. Yep. So make sure that the value of them having insurance with you is more than only their beneficiary getting a death benefit. Part of your job as an agent, part of the reason they go with you versus someone else is because they trust that you're going to be able to serve their family when the time comes. So if you can offer that value, they will prioritize paying the premium, right? It's not just going to be a bill they forget about if you are constantly on their mind because you're providing them with value. Next thing is communication. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. There's a quote from George Bernard Shaw, right? No one ever charges back because their agent over-communicated. Now, there may be a caveat to this. If you call your client 16 times after you sign them up, I'd probably charge back on you too, but I don't think any of you guys are doing that. That would be like more like a needy girlfriend thing or like a psycho ex-boyfriend. I don't think anyone's calling their clients 16 times after they sign up, but most people want to be communicated with more than they are. So a lot of this you can automate. Some of it you want to do manually, but make sure that if they have any questions or any problems, like it's very easy for them to find you. So they shouldn't have any problems or any hurdles getting in contact with you to ask questions. Make sure that you over communicate, don't under communicate. A few ways to do this are just, reaching out, checking up, making sure they got their policy. You can automate some of this, and then also reaching out to their beneficiaries is a way to go above and beyond. Make sure they're comfortable with it, obviously, but that is an extra step you can take that furthers the trust and communication. The last part is what I like to call building a moat. So I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked about the do not call list. This is basically, so picture your client isn't like, have you guys ever seen a moat? Just comment yes or comment moat in the comments below if you guys know what a moat is, right? I have a photo that's coming up here pretty soon to show you. If you don't, but basically back in the olden days, the Middle Ages, they would have castles and then they would dig a trench around it and fill it with water. And then sometimes they put crocodiles or sharks or whatever in it. Probably not sharks, but crocodiles. And the idea was that if an invading army tried to cross the moat, they would have to go through it and it made it more difficult. Same thing with your policies. So you want to put your client in a castle in the middle of the moat and then fill it with crocodiles. So these are your crocodiles, the do not call list. So you put your clients on the do not call list, obviously do it with their permission. Nobody is ever going to deny you putting them on the do not call list. Seniors get way too many phone calls and they freaking hate it. As someone who's been in hundreds of their houses, Julian can vouch for this too. That is like the biggest problem that they have. They're like, oh my God, like if the phone rings while they're talking to you and they're like just losing their mind, right? Every time. So if you can do that, another perfect example of adding value as an agent. Next thing is make sure they know to call you if they have any questions. So if another agent comes behind you, they're raising all these flags about your policy, hey, well, what about this? What about that? If you have solidified in their mind to call you if they have any questions before they replace the policy and go with the other agent, if you've built the trust, what are they going to do? Call Julian, call Tim, whatever, right? That's what they're going to do. Call you if they have any questions. The next thing is business cards. So this is business cards, swag, whatever you want to leave them. Leave it across their house so that if they have any questions, they can easily find your number. You can also do digital business cards. Have them save you as a contact while you're still on the phone with them, because people will forget to do that afterwards. So if you're able to make sure that they have your contact, they have any questions, they call you, that is going to help solidify your business. And the last thing, we posted a reel on this and a bunch of people said it was like sketchy, the practice I'm about to describe. I totally disagree, and I'll explain why. So basically, when I say don't trust other agents, I'll tell a short little story. The first policy that I ever wrote was a guy on it was like a 3-year-old lead at the time. It was him, his wife, and his granddaughter, right? And so I wrote him on this policy, and then his granddaughter was like a grandchild rider. So she had her own policy. This agent came behind me, replaced all of the policies, and told the guy that his granddaughter didn't actually have insurance, which is completely false because the grandchild rider acts as a policy, but he basically tricked the guy and told him that he didn't actually have insurance, right? And so the problem is the agent that came behind me was simply just going after a commission. He didn't really care about the client. And there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of scammers. There's a lot of agents that come in the business that are here one day and gone the next. So the whole point of the policy is you service it when they die. If the agent leaves the business, their policy is not getting service, right? So when I say don't trust other agents, if you are the agent that's actually doing what's right for your client, you need to warn them about the people that won't, because the people that won't will come behind you and tell your clients that what you did for them is not correct because they're just going after the commission. They'll lie, they'll say whatever they need to just to replace a policy. There are tons of people like this, like thousands of agents that are like this. So I don't know why, but for some reason, like every comment on that reel was like, oh, this is sketchy, blah, 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 blah. Untrue, completely untrue. If you guys are not warning your clients about other agents and people that are coming behind and, replacing policies or stealing, there's so many scams out there. It's insane, right? So make sure that you are warning them. You don't have to be sketchy about it. You don't have to lie. Just tell them the truth. Like, look, there are other agents that will come behind. They'll tell you things just to replace a policy. Or there's a lot of people that get into this industry and don't have your best interests at heart. So, as someone who genuinely cares about you and your family, if you have anyone come here, just call me. And to be honest with you, if they will offer you something better, Julian came up with this, and then basically like everyone that was working with us kind of copied it. Is what we would say is like, genuinely, I just want the best thing for you. If somebody else can offer you something better, call me. I'll look at it and I'll let you know if they do. And if the thing is better, I'll go work for them, right? Is basically what we would say. So we represent all the companies. I found you what's best for you. If someone else comes here and offers you something better, call me. I'll let you know if it is, and then I'll go work for them. That completely solidifies the sale. Let's see. Looking at the comments. Say this: if you're contacted by another agent, and tell them you already have an agent and you are welcome to give them my name and number. That's totally fine, but also doing a little bit of a warning, just because like if you kind of just say that, they don't really take it as seriously. But if you like kind of warn them and make them understand that there's genuine downside to another agent replacing the policy and to be very careful about who they let look at it, that's protecting your client better than just kind of saying, call me and give them my name and number, whatever. Because the people that are going to replace the policy just to replace it aren't going to call you and they don't really care. So here's the visual. You put your client in the castle. You fill the note with Crocs, which is the do not call list. Don't trust the other agents, the business cards, and call me. And then if the other agents try to cross it, what happens? Well, that. So again, this is for the in-person presentation, but I'm going to let Julian take back over and kind of detail what we have for you guys, the offer that we are doing at the moment, kind of like the changes that we're making. And then from there, we'll jump into the Kahoot and give away 1,000 leads.
Yeah, ladies and gents. So before we jump into this 1,000 lead giveaway, I want to tell you just real quick a little bit about kind of like I mentioned the changes that we're making. A lot of you guys are either in our program or have inquired about being able to work with us or tried to apply to work with us. So if you are selling life insurance and you are writing between 3 to 5K a week, you are eligible to apply to work with us. And so basically, we're going to be doing a 6-month coaching program where we build you a marketing machine that's profitable or you don't pay. And so it's pretty simple. We'll work with you one-on-one for 6 months, and we're offering this at about half off for the next 2 agents that get in to the program. And so this offer expires. I believe we're ending it Friday at midnight Pacific Standard Time. But the thing to keep in mind here is that, as we can see, I think there's like 75 people watching right now. And those spots are going to go pretty fast because you're also not going to be the only ones who are seeing this. There's people on Facebook. There's people on other things as well. So keep that in mind. But for the next 2 agents that get into the program, we will build you a profitable internal marketing system or you don't pay. So if that sounds interesting or it sounds like something you want to do and you want to get access to kind of content like this one-on-one that's going to solve the problems that are in your business specifically, I think Tim is going to be dropping a link below for you to be able to apply to work with us. And if you're not eligible to work with us, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The content on our channel is designed to get you to be able to write 3 to 5K a week. And then we can just talk later down the line. And because of the way that this offer is structured, if it's not profitable for you, we don't get paid. So we're only working with people that we truly believe we can help. We're not looking to hard sell anyone. There's no arm bars. There's no hard selling. We literally just want to make sure that we can get as many successful agents as possible. So if that interests you, feel free to click the link below to book a call. And like I said, there's only 2 spots left. But without any further ado, I'm going to let Tim jump into. Linda says, what about sending birthday wishes on social media? Yeah. And then I see some stuff about 3 to 5K. I guess it's not for me. Well, Ed, it can be for you, but I would highly recommend going through the free content so that you can get there first. Because the goal is for us to help you make a multi-6-figure income, and you need to have a basis to get there. And that's what we provide you with the free content. You can also use our mini course to learn how to generate your own leads in the Facebook group, so you don't have to pay for them. Franklin says, I think I'm in the wrong place. If you're a captive, I will tell you it is for some people. It's not for some people. If you want to learn more about that, feel free to message me. I can tell you which place would be the best fit for you. I have no dog in that fight. But yeah, I'm going to let Tim jump into this, and let's see who wins these 1,000 leads.
Yeah, and real quick before I do that, just to kind of provide a little bit more context, I dropped the link on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So that's the link to book a call with us. Basically, the way the program is going to work is it's kind of like we're transitioning to this like 6-month coaching program. It's going to be a lot more like intensive, more one-on-one stuff. And the offer is basically to get in at the price that we were doing before for 60 days, and you're getting us for 6 months. So very limited spots, very limited access. But basically, everything that we just talked about in the presentation we went over is what this whole program is about. So it's basically helping you guys with the lead side, which is obviously the first part, helping you guys with the nurture, the automation, everything that goes with that, helping you guys with sales. We're going to have daily sales training, all of that. And then also helping you guys cut down on chargebacks and implementing those automations that we talked about, helping you guys with do not call list, everything that goes into that to ultimately help you guys become a 6-figure producer. I'm not talking about AP, I'm talking about income. So if that interests you guys, let me drop the link again, just so you guys have it. So I dropped that in YouTube and I also dropped it in Facebook. We're going to be taking calls over the next 2 days. Thursday and Friday, and then we're going to be cutting access to that entirely. So just kind of a little bit more information about what that offer looks like. You guys also get a ton of emails over the next 2 days or so. So you guys will see that offer there as well. So without any further ado, let's jump into this Kahoot. Let me pull this up on the tab here. All right. So I'm going to share my screen.
And Tim, while you're doing that, I saw a question that I don't know if everyone saw my response because there's so many things coming in right now.
Yeah.
If you're in the 60-day program, you can re-enroll. We do offer like an existing member setup discount. For those of you, Danny, asking about the course, I know it's like a bunch of comments up. We do not offer a course. We do not offer the CRM to the public. These are all included in the program that we are referencing currently. It's the only thing that we offer to help agents grow their business. And that's just so that we can actually guarantee your success. Like I said, if you do it and it's not profitable, you don't pay. So we have to actually really invest a lot into agents to make sure that happens. Tim, could you drop the Facebook group link for Mr. Ivan? And Craig says he's starting over. Good luck. Kevin, reach out to me and we can talk about the existing member discount for you to get a re-enrollment. But yeah, just wanted to answer those questions real quick. Tim, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Awesome. I'm going to post this Facebook group link for everyone that's watching on YouTube. If you guys are in the Facebook group, obviously you don't need the Facebook group link, but that is the link. So for Kahoot, I see a bunch of people joining here. If you guys can join with your email as your username, that way we can see who each person is. Because last time we had somebody who won, which was MJ, and there were like 4 people that messaged me. They had the initials of MJ trying to claim that they were the winner. So just join us your email so I can easily differentiate who's who. And the way to join, if you guys scan this QR code or go to kahoot.it and then type in that code 643-9670, then you guys will be able to join from there. So the way I would recommend doing it, just have this on your computer and then get your cell phone and just join the Kahoot from there. That would be what I would recommend. And if you guys already joined, I see Jose, Giancarlo. I'm guessing that's Sebastian. I know most of you guys, so you should be fine. But for other people, just join as your email just so we can differentiate for everyone else. So Ed said, if you're making 3 to 5K, why would I want to come with your program? It would be interesting to see someone who wants to make 3 to 5K. So I'll answer that real quick. The people that work the best with us are people that are already making the dials. They're already doing the effort. They're already doing the output, the manual outreach. And they're basically struggling with profit, right? So if you're writing 3 to 5K a week, that doesn't mean you're making 3 to 5K a week. We talked about Julian and I were writing 5K plus a week. We made $6,000 over the year. So the key is not the AP you're writing, it's what you're taking home. So if you're at a point where you're writing less than 3K a week, the biggest thing to focus on is just increasing your output and increasing your sales ability, just flat out. And once you get to that point, if you're making $200, $300 a day, it's going to be hard not to write 3K a week because you're going to find laydowns at that point. So once you can kind of prove that you're already to that point, people that are already seeing that success, when they join our program, it's just kind of like leapfrog. So we reduce the lead costs. We help you with tracking your numbers, do different things with sales to help you get to the next level on that. So ultimately, the people that we work the best with are people that are already writing business, not people that are newer to the business and like haven't really gotten that far down. Like if you haven't written your first app, we're probably not going to be the best fit for you. But everything you need to get to 3 to 5K, we put on our YouTube channel for free. So basically, the way that you should think about it is if you're not writing 3 to 5K, watch our content to get to 3 to 5K. And then if you want to work with us from there, we have open arms and we're ready to help you get to that next level. So
and that's per week also. That's per week. And that's profit. That's not like the AP trap. You know what I mean? if you're riding 3 to 5K, you're not making 3 to 5K, like Tim said.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So let's see how many people. We got 35 people in the Kahoot. I got 76 people on the stream. I'm going to give it 60 more seconds, and then we're going to jump into everything. If you guys have not joined the Kahoot yet, if you go to kahoot.it and then type in the code, you guys will be able to join that way. I'm pasting that link again for you guys, kahoot.it, and then the code is 643-9670. So we'll go 30 more seconds, and then we'll go ahead and jump into everything. We're going to see who's going to win 1,000 leads today, which ultimately could lead to tens of thousands of dollars of annual premium or more, especially if you're asking for referrals. That's like hundreds of thousands of dollars of annual premium. Awesome. So I'm going to give it about 10 more seconds, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into everything. So if you guys aren't already on, go ahead and go to kahoot.it and type in 643-9670. So we got 37 people in. I'm going to go ahead and start it here, and we'll go ahead and jump into everything. All right. So this is based off the presentation you guys just watched. The first question we have here is, what are the 4 golden buckets of insurance in order? So is it triangle: leads, sales, nurture, and retention, lead, nurture, retention, and sales, leads, nurture, sales, and retention, or leads, nurture, closing, and retention? You guys got 5 more seconds. All right. The correct answer was leads, nurture, sales, and retention. So congratulations to all 3 people that got the answer correct. We have a lot more questions to go. So if you guys didn't get that one right, don't worry. There's like 17 questions. So you guys have plenty of time. First place, we got Sebastian, and then James, then Grant, Giancarlo, and MJ. We only got 3 people who got it right. So the other 2 are just like space fillers on the leaderboard here. All right. What are the 3 factors of leads? This is what we touched on in the presentation. Is it size, quality, and spend? Is it volume, quality, and cost? Frequency, cost, and amount? Or direct mail, Facebook, and referrals? If you guys are seeing it with a delay, if you go to live, like just scroll over, because if you joined late, you may not be up to speed on this. So if you guys just go to the live part of the stream, then you'll be correct on all of that. So here we go. I think a lot more people caught up. We got 20 people that got it correct. Congratulations to everyone. Let's see what this leaderboard looks like now. Sebastian is still in first place. Then we got James, DM. That's going to be tough if you win. Destin Franks and CA Family Insurance. That's Jose. All right. When it comes to leads, what does cost equal? Does cost equal quality? Does cost equal cost to generate minus vendor markup? Is it cost to generate plus vendor markup, or number of leads times quality of leads? All right, let's see. 1 more second left. Get your answers in. There we go. So majority of people got it. 14 answers were correct. Let's see who's in the leaderboard now. May Mendoza climbed up 11 places. Congratulations. We now have James in first place here. All right. What is the minimum amount of daily dials recommended? Is it 50, 75, 500, or 100? Again, this is the minimum amount of dials recommended, not the amount of dials you could make or should make, just the minimum that we recommend. Got 5 more seconds. I'm seeing a lot more people are answering. I'm guessing everyone caught up and got to live. There we go. Congratulations. Majority of people got that one correct.
I saw someone, Linda said that she has an agency she's with, but got a lot of value and inspiration. I just want to clarify with everyone, we do not accept insurance contracts. We are not here to recruit you. This is all free value that you can use to get to 3 to 5K, and then you can apply to work with us if you'd like. But this is a separate coaching program. This is nothing to do with us recruiting or taking your contracts.
Yeah, no, good distinction there. I think I read that comment a little bit differently, but I think you probably hit the nail on the head there. So we got James in first place, Dana, Chelsea, Michael, and Sebastian. All right, guys, this is only question 5 of 17. So if you guys are not where you want to be, you still have plenty of time. So what are the 4 ways to nurture leads? Outreach, automation, leaving voicemails in TikTok. Is it outreach, automation, follow-up, and content? Outreach, automation, direct mail, and content? Or door knocking, automation, follow-up, and content? Got 8 more seconds. I saw some last ones come in there just in the final seconds. Freaking clutch. Congratulations. 18 people got it right. See James up here at the top still. Chelsea, Michael, MJ Hayes, and Rob CPO at gmail.co. In regards to nurture, what are the 3 purposes of content? Entertain, remind, and recognize. Educate, entertain, and educate again. Build trust, remind, and entertain. Or build trust, remind, and educate. See who was paying attention during the presentation earlier. Got 10 more seconds. Julian, who do you think is going to win so far up until this point? Who are you betting on?
I think it's the last name was like Wazarnsky or something. I have to see it again. I don't remember, but the James guy was number 1 and like came out of nowhere.
Ooh. I'll tell you what, there's one thing that I've noticed about these Kahoots, and it's like the top 5 just completely shake up every single time. There's like no stability here. It's insane.
Good to see you on here, Kevin.
According to the slides, what percentage of sales are made on the first contact? Is it 1%, 2%, 3%, or 4%? There we go. Most people were paying attention. Looks like the results are still pretty solid. Doesn't look like we haven't really had any like trick questions that have messed most people up yet, other than the first one, but I think a lot of people just weren't on. So Michael in first place, DM, Chelsea, Rob, and then Dana. See if you guys can hold your position in the top 5. What are the 4 parts to a sale? Qualify, find need, build trust, and closing. Qualify, rapport building, build trust, and closing. Qualify, find need, underwriting, and closing. Or qualify, find need, build trust, and objections.
I saw a comment about if we're in the chat, we can't win. There's no way for us to track that, so that's why we do it through Kahoot. There's no way for us to keep up with that.
Yeah, you have to answer through the quiz, otherwise it won't count. So
yeah,
that was our first like trick question there.
You're also graded off of speed to answer it too, so
yeah, there's no way to do that.
No way to do it.
All right, so the top 5 are holding pretty steady here. Congrats to Giancarlo, who climbed up 10 places. That's fantastic. All right. 9 out of 17. What 3 components make up someone's why? Is it who, what, and when? Is it who, where, and how? Is it when, where, and what? Or is it who, what, and how? If you guys are delayed, just skip to the point in the live where you guys are up to speed. If you just click live on YouTube, it'll take you to the live part that we're doing. All right. 15 people got that one right. It was who, what, and how. Let's see if the leaderboard shook up at all. Michael is still holding the top spot, followed by DM, who's only 82 points behind. Then Chelsea, Rob, and Dana. All right. What are the 3 ways to build trust? We're only a little over halfway there. Educate them, Fort method, and ask about grandkids. Educate them, show you care, and be vulnerable. Give them money, the Fort method, and asking about grandkids. Or educate them, show you care, and then replace their policy. Which one is correct? 2, 1. There we go. I was hoping that not too many people got messed up on this one. This one was kind of easy, if I would say so myself. So Michael has a 9 correct answer streak, which is fantastic. The leaderboard has shaken up a little bit, but not a crazy amount. True or false? You should approach the conversation trying to make friends with your prospect. True or false? Five people got that wrong. Sheesh. All right. Let's go to the next one. Michael is still in the lead. Rob made a comeback with 3 in a row, but the top 5 have shaken up quite a bit. All right. This next one is a slider. So you basically slide to the correct percentage here. So in closing, what percentage are we fighting for that's not a laydown and is not unclosable? So what is the percentage that we are fighting for? If you guys slide on your phone to pick the correct answer, you guys have 13 seconds left. All right, we have 31 answers. Is it 50%, 60%, 70%, 30%? It is 80%. All right, 9 people got it correct. Let's see if this shook up our top 5. It has not yet. Adam Jelicic is now in 4th place, and Michael and DM are holding the top spots. We're now 13 of 17. Don't worry, guys. The last question is a double question, so it'll count for double the amount of points. So what are the 3 layers of the blame onion? Other people, family, and life. Circumstances, spouse, and self. Other people, family, and God. Or circumstances, other, and self. All right. Looks like majority of people got this one right as well. Oh, here it is, Julian. This is where things start to get interesting, dude. The top spot has now been taken. DM just went to the top spot. Hopefully we can find out who that is if they win. Then we got Michael, Chelsea, Adam, and Pat B. DeTruth at Gmail. All right. Next one is when it comes to retention, what is the percentage that we are fighting for? From 10 to 60%. What percentage are we fighting for when it comes to retention? This is people outside of ones that are always going to charge back and people outside of ones that are going to keep it no matter what you do. All right. Is it 60%? 30%? It's 30%. Congratulations to the 8 people that got that right. Julian, it sounds like there's like a swing set in the background. Is that you or is that me?
It was me.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it was on the swing set.
Gotcha. I didn't know we had a swing set in our office. That must be a new addition since I left. DM has 11 answers correct in a row. That is fantastic. But if you guys are not in first place, do not worry. There's still plenty of time left. We have a few questions. We have 3 questions, but one of them is going to be a double points question, so you guys will have a chance to get back in the lead here. So what are the 4 ways to solidify a life insurance sales? Relationship, competitive pricing, communication, and building trust. relationship, perceived value, communication, and building a moat, relationship, perceived value, withholding information and building a moat, or overpromising benefits, perceived value, communication, and building a moat. There we go. Most people got it right. The top spot is still held solid. This next one is a trick question, but is worth double points. So let's see who has been paying the most attention in the Facebook group here. We're giving away a free trip to Mexico based off of people posting AP in the group. So how much AP has the Facebook group written? We just posted an update 2 days ago. So who has been paying attention? From 0 to 2 million, where are we at? You guys don't have to get it exactly, but the closer that you are, the more points you would get. And this is worth double the amount of points. Let's see. Got some answers there.
And keep in mind, ladies and gents, if you are posting your sales, every time you post your sales in the group, you get entered for a chance to win a all-inclusive trip to a resort in Mexico.
So nobody got it exactly right, but we did have some people close. Let's see. Do you think this switched up the top 5 here? What do you think, Julian?
Let's find out.
Let's see. We still have DM in the top spot here. All right. Let's see. We have one final question. What is one YouTube video you guys would like to see us make that would help you get closer to your goal? So basically what you guys do is you type your idea for what you would like to see from us. Maybe it's a video about Facebook ads. The more specific you are, the better. And then we're going to vote on which idea was the best. And whoever's idea gets the most votes is going to get some points towards their Kahoot score. So just type in an idea. You guys get up to 2 ideas. And whoever idea gets the most votes will obviously win. So we got 7 answers here. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes or 143 seconds to go in. So, come up with your best idea. Really think about it because we'll probably end up making whatever video you guys give us the idea for if it is solid and doable. If it's like sell insurance while skydiving, we might not film that one. Maybe we will. I don't know. But the more relevant and the more reasonable it is, the better. But we love to produce the videos that you guys ask for. So if you ask, more than likely you guys will receive. All right, so everyone already gave their 2 ideas. Let's see what we got. Actually, never mind. This is more ideas are coming in.
While we're waiting for the ideas to come in, Tanny G says, "Do you supply leads? You said when you post in your AP in the Facebook, or our own sales." No, Tammy, we don't give away free leads every day. We do give them away on these lives and stuff, and we are giving away the trip, but that is on your own sales. And if you tell us, the rules are all posted in the group, but if you tell us like what your lead source was and how much AP it was and everything, you do get entered. Every time you post a sale, you get an entry to win the trip to the all-inclusive resort in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. It's super tight, and we're going to come down there and visit whoever goes and make a video, kind of ask you how you're such a superstar and, enjoy Mexico a little bit. But we won't hang around too long.
100%. All right, so we got 40 more seconds to come up with the ideas. I'm seeing a lot of shapes here. I'm excited to see what you guys came up with. Got 35 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got 25 more seconds. And again, whoever's idea gets the most votes is going to win some extra points.
After that, have you eaten lunch yet, Tim?
Yeah, dude, it's like 6:40 here, my man.
Dude, I haven't even eaten lunch yet, bro.
Jeez.
I'm like mentally brain dead.
That's brutal, dude.
It's very brutal.
All right. Let's see. So sorting the ideas.
The Facebook group name is Insurance Agent Freedom. And you'll see it says hosted by Advanced Agent Marketing.
More Facebook ad videos, Facebook ads and objections, objection handlings, and Facebook ads hooks. We got a lot of them. Smoke screens, cross-selling, retention, IUL, how to make all prospects want you because they see the difference. Best way to get referrals. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and start the voting. You guys can swipe. Basically how it works is you guys will swipe through all of the questions. You can vote as many times as you want. So if you like an idea, leave a vote. If you don't like an idea, skip to the next one, and you don't have to leave a vote. But you guys are going to have 100 seconds to go through and vote on all the ideas. If you see two ideas that are the same and you like them, if they're the exact same idea and you like them both, feel free to vote on them multiple times because you get unlimited votes. All right. Got 75 more seconds on here. And if you guys have already voted, feel free to drop any questions you guys have for us in the chat. As we're waiting for the rest of these votes to come in, we got about 60 more seconds. If we get some questions, we'll try to answer them in that time frame.
Yeah, and just so there's no dead space like we covered today in the presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
For those of you who wonder why I keep yawning, I got woken up by my dog last night 6 times throughout the evening, from 2 a.m. to 5 something a.m. Constantly waking me up, and she's taking a nap all afternoon while I'm working. So go figure. But it's like having a kid with spots on it. If you guys are wondering what I mean by the spots, I'm talking about a Dalmatian. But yeah, that's the life of Julian. See, that only filled 40 seconds. And now all we got to do is talk about something else. No questions in the chat. So
no, we got 10 more seconds. We can just talk about the time counting down, just narrate our actions.
Yeah. Players, it's time to vote. We have 172 votes. There's only 3, 2, 1.
That's more votes than people that voted in the last U.S. election. All right. What is one YouTube video you would like to see us make, which would help you get closer to your goal? The most votes win. We have CRM automations with 9 votes. The best way to set up and roll out automations. What to text to clients with 9 votes. These are all tied. And the best way to make a video ad. Awesome. Fantastic, guys. Well, we're going to save all of these ideas and sort through them and probably put out a ton of YouTube videos in the next couple of weeks here. So without any further ado, let's see who has won. In third place, we have Michael Sabatini. In second place, we have Chelsea Brazel. And in first place, drum roll please, we have DM. So because you just put your initials, I'm going to need a screenshot of you in first place, on your screen. So just send me a screenshot of it saying that you won. DM it to me on Facebook, no pun intended. And I will be sure to figure out the best way to get you your lead. So send us a DM with a screenshot of it. I see Dustin says that it's him. I'm going to take your word for it, but I do also need to see the screenshot because I'm probably going to get multiple DMs from multiple DMs. And just to make sure I give the leads to the right person. Awesome. So thank you guys so much for participating. I know Julian's going to close us out with a few words and a little bit more about the opportunity that we are going to be giving to a couple of agents here. So I'll let Julian take over. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'll let you close us out.
Ladies and gents, I am not going to keep this too long because I do have to go eat lunch. And I know y'all's time is valuable, but I know we mentioned earlier, we are only taking 2 agents. There were a bunch of people commenting down below that they had booked a call with us. We're going to put out, a few texts and emails to let you guys know, keep you posted in the loop. But basically the premise is that we are going to work. We've never done this before. We're going to work with you one-on-one for 6 months and build you a profitable marketing system based off of, where you're at, where you don't pay. So, again, if it doesn't, we're not incentivized to sell you anything. We're not incentivized to pitch you. It's just, hey, this makes sense. Let's move forward, or, no big deal. Just doesn't make sense. Come back in a month or two. But remember, it's great to get on the call and kind of lay out a game plan, because basically the way that we like to do our calls is, we talk about kind of the problems in your business. We'll go over how you can solve them. And if you decide to move forward and you think it's a great opportunity for you, awesome. If not, that's great too. Doesn't really matter to us. But there are only 2 spots left, because we are offering a massive discount until Friday at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So just be sure that if you do want to check it out and learn more, you can hop on the call. And again, remember, if it isn't profitable, you don't pay. So, we'll see you there. But I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. If you guys have any further questions, please reach out to us in the Facebook group. It's Insurance Agent Freedom if you're not already in it. We'll be happy to answer any questions. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.